The other part that I'm going to cross over is this vacuum port here. I use this right here because I have a vacuum gauge on my dash of the car so I can monitor the vacuum, and this is where I place it. I don't run power brakes, I just have manual disc brakes, and so this is where I will hook that up for the dash. However, I will probably be using this port right here when I start to tune the carburetor for using a vacuum gauge. The other thing I will take off is this little wire, ground wire right here for my electric choke. Put that on the new carburetor as well. So I wanted to show some sizes here, some comparison between the Performer and the AVS2, and it looks like the main throttle blades are about the same, pretty close to the same size. Looks like we have about 1.430 for that, and then the Performer, or the AVS2, if I can get in here big enough, so it's pretty darn close. As you can see, 1.430, maybe 431. So let's check out the secondaries. On the Performer, it's like I have 1.672. So a better measurement now is showing 1.680, 1.681. On the AVS2, we have looks like 1.745. Yes, 1.745. And there's my secondary measurement. So it's a little bit bigger, not by much, but a little bit. So I want to check the float level on this, and in order to do that, I need to pull this top cover off. So I need to actually take care of this little tiny cotter pin right here. Has to come off, and I hope I don't lose it. And then I have to disconnect the accelerator pump, and that too is going to be a little tiny Carter clip right there. And then I have to do the secondary, this little flapper thing, and there's another clip right there. Screws here that require this type of wrench, a Torx 25, a T25 Torx. So let's take this apart. This is one of those things that I don't know, I don't think I'd want to do this on the car, because this is what it is. There's several of these. See if you can, right there, finally. That's how small it is. There's 3 of those. And I'm going to put it right there on the corner. That takes that shaft off. Next up is the accelerator pump. And I'm going to leave this in the middle hole. That's one of the adjustments that you can do, is it can either go, this can either go in the upper one or lower one, but I'll leave it right there in the middle hole. So, and try to remember that this goes back in this direction. Okay, let's see, we have one more to do. And that's this little tiny one right here. And again, it is so small. All right. Looks like I have that disconnected. That's the choke. So let's go ahead now and take off these. Just gonna lightly crack them. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's see. Oh, it looks like I have one more. You know, these screws are a little stiffer than I expected. Okay, looks like I have everything. This is supposed to just lift straight up like so. And there's the floats. My instructions indicate that take a 7/8 bit, and that looks to me like it's pretty darn close. It does move a tiny bit though, doesn't it? Let's check the other side. That's the same way. And we'll check. It's supposed to be an inch and 7/8 drop. I have my ruler set it. Let's see, 15/16, so 15/16 to 1 inch, and that looks darn close to me. Same way with that one. So let's take a look at this. So the instructions on this say that there should be 7/16 between the air horn gasket and the top of the outer end of the float. So the way I look at this, I take this, my 7/16, and on the outer edge here, it looks to me like it's right on the money. The other one does the exact same thing. So I think the floats are in good shape. So I'm happy with what I see on this. So carefully, without dropping it, make sure your accelerator spring is in there, that it didn't fall out. If you feel anything jam up, stop. And this is right in place. So I'm going to put my fasteners back in, my little clips, and we'll be ready to install. So it looks like I'm ready to install. I replaced my vacuum plugs, and I'm glad I did because I found cracks on several of them. I don't think I was losing vacuum on them, but I eventually would have, that's for sure. I have my Dodge throttle cable installed, and this doesn't come with the kit. This is something that I've always had for the car. So the kickdown lever goes right here, and then the throttle actually goes right there with a little Carter pin that goes on that. On the back here, I have my vacuum port that I use, my vacuum gauge that's on the dash of my car. I will not be tuning the carburetor with that. I will be doing it on this one right here. I have my fuel inlet nut ready to go. I have my electric choke ground cable on here, and then just to show you, I have the adjusted pretty so there's not much tension on the throttle. It's pretty warm here all the time, and I'll adjust this winter as needed. The old one, I had it right about my fingernails out. That's about where I had my other one, my Performer, but I don't think I needed it. I don't need it that much right now. So like I said, this is ready to install, and we'll just kind of take it from there. Well, here's something that's interesting. The nuts in the back of the carburetor, or the posts, are so close to the body, I actually couldn't and still can't get my box-in wrench off of the nut. It's so close. So I may have to take. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this off. It's actually pretty difficult, but you can see just how close it is. Let's see if The other side's the same way. The nut hits the back of the carburetor, and these are 1/2-inch nuts. They're the same ones I took off the Performer, but I'm going to have to figure out how to try to get this off now, because as you can see, I can't get it off. So I certainly will be able to use the open end section, that's for sure, of it. But boy, the studs are come really close to the body of the carburetor, so much so that the nuts hit the backside. So like I said, once I get it started, I think I can just use the box end or the open end of the wrench to get them tight. Well, viewers, there you have it. My new Edelbrock AVS2 is installed. I have no fuel leaks. That, of course, is a big plus. I was really nervous about cutting into that braided line and reinstalling that. I could have cut a little bit more off, but I'm happy with what I have. The idle is set at about 800 RPM, and you saw me adjusting the corners of the carburetor with the vacuum gauge to get the highest vacuum possible. And the instructions say to adjust the carburetor with the air cleaner on. So you can see the air cleaner is on. Made my adjustments. You saw me go back and forth into the car to see what the RPM is, keeping it around 800, making my adjustments on the carburetor with the vacuum gauge, and I think it feels good. I can tell just by the idle quality and the acceleration as you saw me throttle it up and down, that it feels strong. So this concludes the install. I'm happy with it, and we'll take one more look. Thanks for watching John E. Garage.